All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new bi-week edition of Pod by the BAE, proudly presented by Homefield Apparel. Make sure you go to homefieldapparel.com and use the code BAE25 for 15% off your first order. Or if you've already used that code, make sure you use our affiliate link that's going to be in the description of this podcast. All hands on deck. We, by week three and one, almost nobody saw this coming. So make sure you show your support. I know they've dropped some stuff, a lot of cool stuff over the last couple of weeks. You buy more stuff, they'll get more stuff for you. That's kind of how that works, guys. It's supply and demand, apparently. That's kind of what we're going to go for. That's still a thing. But Seth, Steeg, a little inside baseball. It's Thursday at 9:24 a.m. We have never recorded this early ever.
I've got coffee. That's crazy.
I mean, look at us.
It's lovely.
This is what the bye week can do when some of us take vacation for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
And some are just able to work around the schedule. So here we are. Did want to touch on the South Carolina State game just a little bit. I know, we're already on to Charlotte. However, we want to recap that game because it was a fun game to watch. That third quarter was a lot of fun. So Seth, the Bulls win 63-14. Obviously a massive step down in competition from the first three games.
Yeah.
What, if anything, were you able to take away from this curb stopping?
Well, I think, that probably a little early to get very nervous about the run game stuff. And, I think once you see just kind of the step down in competition, everything looks a little bit cleaner, a little bit easier. There's still a few mistakes here or there, the stuff that you can clean up, which is always good to, still have some things to work on in a big win. So, but my biggest question was, how is the operation going to be? How clean was the game going to be from an offensive side, especially in terms of success rate was kind of one of the big things, the down to down, how good you were on a down to down basis. And they were, ended up 52% success rate, which is 89th percentile. 30.32 EPA per play, 91st percentile, 9.1 yards per play, 97th percentile. So really good. So that's kind of what I was just looking for them to play, a clean game, because you should have I think we all were correct in our picks. I think we had to cover and the over. So just looking for a clean game. And if you did that, you probably should win. And that's what they did. So good stuff all around.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed a little choppy at the beginning, and then they kind of settled in. That pick six kind of sort of settled everything in. Mac Harris's 93-yard interception return for a touchdown, program record. Once again, they are breaking records against this poor South Carolina State team. Not only the interception, but most points scored in a quarter with 35 in that third quarter. Good job all around. Steeg, a lot has been made about the running game. Feel like it broke out a little bit, but again, competition being what it is, do you kind of foresee this being sort of the norm, maybe a little bit less going forward in the rest of the conference play, because the schedule's not that tough?
No,
the rest of the way.
And I think yes, there is a little bit of concern about the running game. I mean, if you take out the big explosive plays, it's really not that good. But I mean, that's kind of par for the course for this offensive play style. Very rarely are you going to get, 12, 15-yard chunk runs. You're usually probably getting the 30 to 40-yard, touchdowns out of them. And even if you watch Tennessee play, they kind of experience the same thing. So to me, it's a little concerning, but like I recently uncovered this thing, not from table tennis, but from tabletop board games called Rules for Cool. Which is when cool things happen, it doesn't really matter what else is going on around it. You can advance analytics your way in and out of any situation, but like you scored 63 points and absolutely demolished a team. You can't really, get down into the nitty gritty of like, oh, but they're, 2.6 yards per carry outside of the explosive runs. Like, no, that's what it's there for. You score touchdowns to win games, and you won games because you scored a lot of touchdowns. I do think eventually you're going to have to kind of come to Jesus moment of saying, okay, why are they not getting the 5-6 yard runs? Why are they only getting 2 to 3 yard runs? But the sample size is just so irregular right now. You win against the 3 best defensive lines you're probably going to face throughout the entire season, and then you face probably the worst defensive line you're ever going to face this entire season, sans maybe Charlotte. So sample size be damned. I'm sure we're going to figure it out by probably like week 9. At that point, it's way too late to try to resolve anything at that point. That's just going to be who they are at this point.
Yeah, and to your point with the offensive line kind of concerns rushing game, the short runs aren't really there. They do anticipate getting Derek Bowman back at left tackle after this bye week for Charlotte on next Friday. I think that could short some things up. I think the guard play, once Cole Skinner kind of got in there, definitely saw an uptick and was a little bit more steady. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of how they reshuffle things back. Zane, just by the numbers, played out of his mind on Saturday. I think we'll get into it in the Ponderosa, but I think his PFF grade was like over 90%. His offensive grade. He was a man possessed at left tackle, so I'm excited to see kind of where he slots in. If they just want to keep him out there or kind of put him back into his guard spot, that'll be a very interesting sort of conversation to have going into next week. But defensively, I mean, this team was flying around. I mean, Mac Harris had himself a game. 10 tackles, 2.5 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, a forced fumble, and that pick 6, and didn't make honor roll.
Yeah.
Well,
I think they just didn't want to give it to a guy who played South Carolina State. I think they wanted to give one to North Texas at the very least, and I can't remember who won it on defense. But I'm sensing a lot of bias in the American, unfortunately, recently.
Well, I wonder why.
We'll
Chaz,
get into that later.
I think we will. Chaz Nimrod, 4 catches, 118 yards, 2 touchdowns. Let's see, 119 yards. I can't believe I shorted him. Josh Porter, 4 catches, 58 yards. Over 10 yards a catch, guys, for Josh Porter. That is
big game.
That's like double what his average was last season. So good job by him. Keyshawn Singleton, 4 catches. Jonathan Eccles, his patented 1 catch, 22 yards, 1 touchdown out of him. The running game was a little disjointed, but the thing that I kind of like to see, USF's like box score has it kind of broken down. Attempts gained, rushing yards lost, and then the net. They only lost a net 5 yards rushing, which against this sort of competition, you hope that's the case. So they were able to still get moving the ball forward. Alvin Isaac didn't have a great game. Cortavius Norton did have a pretty good game. Sam Franklin obviously broke off those 2 long run for touchdowns. He finished with a team-high 91 yards on 4 attempts, averaging just under 23 yards a rush. Helped the fantasy team because, man, he was looking like a bust for your boy early on. So I love a stat padding game.
It's helpful. Do you want to show the fantasy? We're in the bye week. Do you want to look at the fantasy teams real quick?
Absolutely.
We don't have the updated numbers, but we can kind of look at it from a wider range here. So this is where we're at right now. Everybody's scoring some points. Every quarterback scored some points, so that's good.
That's first.
Yeah. Good to see Josh Porter get back in the rotation there. That helps me out a little bit. But I think if we actually tabulated the points, it might be closer or pretty close going through. Byron Brown probably would put me over the top, I'd imagine, because we count when they win a game. So all those quarterback stats count. So beating Florida and Boise has been helpful in that regard.
Brandon Winton not being a part of the offense is really dragging me down a little bit.
Well, this is an interesting. It's also good to kind of look at this as an exercise of, all right, preseason expectations, right? These are the guys, especially the skill positions, we expected to play a good bit. Alvin Isaac probably ends up being a really good pick. He's done more, especially if you start to count the return stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But the one spot I think that tight end's still kind of a toss up. I think White Sullivan's leading the tight end group, but it's like 75 yards or something like that. It's not like he's lighting the world on fire. The running back group, like I said, Alvin Isaac kind of has emerged a little bit more. And then receivers, it's kind of been, for the most part, we thought it'd be really spread out. It's been a lot more of just Nimrod and Keyshawn Singleton, especially early. I think as the season goes, you may see that spread out a little bit more. But we thought, initially that there's a chance that a lot of these guys, play a decent bit and get chances to make plays. But it's kind of been pretty spread out. Or it's kind of been pretty concentrated so far with Nimrod and Singleton. So that's been kind of interesting.
Same with the linebacker. It's 2 linebackers and everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we thought we might see a little bit more rotation. It's like, nah, not really.
No. Like Rocco Nichols, not even the 2 of the backups that come in at linebacker. Xavier Hamilton and Rodney Hill are the backups that came in for Mac and Jalen. So
it's interesting. Both the transfer guys are not really playing much. Now, defensive line, a lot of those transfer guys are playing. So, just interesting to look back and see where we're at so far. I think it's probably pretty close and has a chance to get closer as the season goes on. So, but those are the teams as of now. So, pretty good.
Pretty good. Not too bad.
So that's you guys. At least I have Nico.
You do. We might, as a game-winning kicks, you get extra points for a game-winning kick.
Yeah, we might have to start nerfing kickers here soon.
So that's where we're at right now.
Perfect.
I gotta say, I mean, really, no glaring omissions.
I think Christian Neptune's probably like the.
I guess that would be the one, right?
Yeah, I honestly, and this is coming from the complete source of honesty here. I had no idea he would even be healthy enough to play this season, let alone be starting games for us. So that's the only glaring omission. But by all indications, I think everyone is a little surprised by that.
Maybe.
Yes, that's a good call.
Renault?
I think he leads the team in targets. Neptune does. Who'd you say?
James Chenault. I think that's probably.
He's got a couple of picks, right? Yeah, so that might be. That's not a bad one either.
The top 5 tackle getters are all on teams. So Mac, Harris, Schuler, Rucker, Ward, and Gaskin. Rico Watson is a pick. Seliscar. And then my beautiful Devin Lee has 6 tackles and a tackle and a half for loss. So
there you go.
We're all getting involved.
Yeah, Neptune would be the one. Interesting on Neptune. He does lead the team in targets. He's got 21 targets for 81 yards. So, 12 catches for 81 yards. Interesting.
We'll see. Wyatt's got 8 for 75. Eccles has 3 for 40. Weston has 1 for 7.
Yeah.
So that's about it.
Next year, can we nix tight ends for an extra DB?
One of these years, man. It's like Kyle Pitts, man. One of these years, someone's going to break out.
It could be. I mean, that is the other kind of looking back at the game. The fun thing from the game is Eccles got more reps, more, and he did a decent job blocking. He sprung on one of the long touchdown runs. He had a great block to spring it. So good to see him get more and more involved. I think as the season goes, if he can be serviceable as a blocker, you'll probably see him a lot more.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, you saw it on that post, right? Like, the dude's just a freaking athlete.
Yeah, he can run.
He can gallop. It's the other part of the tight ends that, even though he was, I think he was spread out wide, so he wasn't like an inline tight end, but still, the dude can gallop. So that can be a very fun wrinkle in this offense if he continues to improve. And I'm glad he has. Him being able to go out there and handle blocking means obviously Evan Dangler's, I think his run, maybe there might be a white light at the end of the tunnel coming up pretty soon for his PT there. I think he only had like 8 snaps against Florida, if I'm not mistaken. So like it's already kind of run its course a little bit.
Echols was the leading tight end snap getter in the game, and Wyatt Sullivan was. So some of it was also, twos were playing a lot at the end, but Sullivan had 12, Echols had 18, I think, and Weston Wolf had 14. So,
and have you guys ever, like video game wise or just watching, had a more fun third quarter? Like just any quarter itself where I think they scored 4 touchdowns in the first 5 minutes.
It was an avalanche.
Yeah, like it got out of hand. Like,
yes, it was 21-7 at half.
Yeah, expeditiously, it got out of hand.
It happened fast. Which is, we talked about last week, when typically, and a lot of time, especially against bad teams, when the goalish teams get going, they just get going and it just rolls on you. And that's exactly what happened.
I will say also, I think he's, pardon me if I'm wrong on this, 4 for 4 on really, really good second half adjustments.
I mean,
Miami's, the jury's out on that just because of how Miami is, but it feels like they adjust well at halftime when they can kind of see what's going on. It just starts off a little slow, starts off a little sluggish.
I would say that's fair.
Yeah.
Obviously, program low, time of possession. Suck it, Colin. All right, here's the really, really funny part. I want to see if this, this doesn't feel right, but it may be. They had the ball for 2 minutes and 19 seconds in the third quarter.
They had super short. Do they have average field position on that? Because they had a couple. You block the punt and then you go back and you return the punt pretty deep, and they've and just hit some bombs over the top. It was a great game.
It was a lot of fun. 10 out of 10 would recommend that sort of game again. I don't see it. I'd have to let me see if I can pull up the stats broadcast of it.
But either way, a fun night.
Yeah, comically low amount of plays or snaps by everyone as well. Going through PFF, it was like everyone got involved, which was great, but like I don't think anyone had over like 35 snaps. Like even like linemen. Like there were dudes that I didn't even realize existed on this roster, and I dove through that roster.
The starting offensive line had 38 snaps.
Yeah, crazy.
23 pass plays and 15 run plays.
Average starting field position was the own 33. They had 6 1-minute drives. So third quarter, real quick, obviously, 59 seconds, 8 seconds, 56 seconds, 8 seconds.
Well, there you
go. Yikes. But very fun game. Lows are always when you can have a nice relaxing second half. Big fan of that. You got a lot of subs in, a lot of people played, walk-ons played. I mean, shoot. That's all you can ask for in one of these games after coming off 3 very, very difficult tests where you passed 2 of them. So you dropped the lowest grade. So there we go. Steeg, real quick before we get out of here, USF does actually have other sports teams.
They do, amazingly.
So how have they been doing?
Pretty good. Very good, actually, if we're going to be completely honest. I'll start with volleyball. They're a little bit more recently in the news here. They are 5-7 as it currently stands, 1-0 in conference. If you thought that USF football had a tough opening slate, volleyball had it beat. They basically did not play anyone bad at all. Their entire non-conference slate was top-tier competition, top-ranked teams, or just historic programs that have been very good. And USF was able to manage three really good wins out of it against Florida State, South Carolina, and Dayton, all of which were receiving votes at the time that they won. But they also had to, play Florida. They had to play at Minnesota, at Purdue, Tennessee, Creighton, Kansas, like all of these top level programs. And in sports like volleyball and men's soccer and women's soccer and all those, NCAA tournaments, 64 teams, those types of games matter a lot more to spring those types of wins than it does to just beat up against like Bethune-Cookmans and Stetsons of the world. So all came to a head because now it's conference play and that's what it matters. Last night they beat Florida Atlantic 3-1, a stingy Florida Atlantic team. So that's a really good showing out of them. They dropped the first set, but was able to clean it up in the next three. Maria Clara Andrade and Addie Bruce are just unreal players for volleyball at this point. So all's good there. Their toughest competition in the conference is going to end up being Rice. Rice is like receiving votes and just on the cusp of top 25 appearance yet again. So that's something to watch to see if they can sneak their way into a regular season championship there. But luckily they do host the conference tournament at the end of the season. So we'll get an extended look out of this squad by Coach Joe, but all is good so far on that side of things. And they're fun to watch too. They're fast, they're aggressive, really good defensive prowess as well. They're just you'll hear us in the Discord talking about the amount of errors they commit out of serves, which is comical. It's the USF volleyball version of USF football going 3 and out is USF volleyball making a service error out of a 3-0 run, basically. That's volleyball in a nutshell. Nate, any questions?
No. When's the conference tournament?
Oh, you're gonna make me look it up, aren't you?
I am.
I should have had that ready to go. Volleyball schedule. It starts on November 21st.
Okay.
And it'll be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So quick little turnaround on it.
2 more months left of the season.
Mm-hmm. And they'll play everyone. They'll play basically everyone home and away. It's the same things like basketball. Like there's a few teams that they just play at home and a team that they just play away. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right, sick.
Usual. Men's soccer is still amazingly undefeated. They're 4-0-4 on the season so far. Have not dropped the game, but they have dropped points, I think is the best way to say it. They've had a few games where they've been leading 1-0 and then gave up a late goal, namely against Mercer and Central Florida in back-to-back games. Those kind of sucked. UCF was absolutely like just dominating us, and we somehow just escaped by to a 1-1 tie. And then Mercer, I posted in the Discord. It was the funniest situation. Just their left wing just absolutely skied a ball into the box, thinking that maybe a guy will go get it. Jaheim Wickham, our starting goalkeeper, who's unreal, just made a blurb and ball just fell in the back of the net. I double checked with Derek. It did not register as a shot on goal, but the ball went in. The expected goal was 0.09. It absolutely should not have gone in, but it did. But nonetheless, they're 2-0 in conference. They beat UAB and then traveled at Tulsa and won 2-1 there. Pretty good start for the season for them. They do have to kind of pick it up. They play against Charlotte, who was the preseason favorite, on Saturday at Corbett. So they have a good game there. And then they just have to take care of business the rest of the way against conference foes, FIU, Missouri State, Temple, and Florida Atlantic. And then they'll end the year against Memphis. The tournament is going to be at the host facility for the highest ranked team. So it'll probably be at Charlotte, just based off of how they're doing. But again, USF has a good chance here. 2-0 is all you can really ask for to be undefeated, and just take care of business the rest of the way for the rest of it.
Love that. How's women's soccer doing?
They are also doing very well. They started the year kind of rough. They were 1-4 to start the season, but have gotten themselves on a 5-game win streak to bring themselves to 6-4, including one being undefeated in conference as well. They beat ECU the other night. ECU has been like a giant thorn in their side over the last couple of years. They previously were like 12-1 against ECU, but have dropped like 3 of their last 5. They've had some pretty good results. They lost 1-0 at Wake Forest. Wake Forest was national runner-up last year. They had a pretty good showing against South Carolina and UCF, but just, second half got away from them. I don't particularly know what's going on with Chris Brown's decision-making here as head coach, but Gabby Rourke and Leia Fernandez are basically switching off as goalkeeper. So they're basically just going with whoever has the hot hand. I know that there's a size difference between them, and I don't know if that's causing this, but it's kind of strange. I don't love it. It's Seth probably understands. It's like having 2 quarterbacks. You have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks, and it's apparently working out for them. Like I said, 1-0 against ECU this past Thursday. Great showing there. Congratulations on a 5-game win streak. Now you have to play number 11 Memphis at Memphis,
and that's tonight, Thursday at 8 p.m.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
have they figured out some of like the goals? I know I think they scored 6 against Grambling, and then the 4 against Temple, but a lot of 1-goal games for them. Do they have a reliable striker yet?
No. They're figuring it out. They have capable strikers, but I don't think that they have like a true one like you saw with like Evelyn Viens in years past. They just, they exploded for 10 goals in 2 games against Temple and Grambling, like you mentioned. Actually, 13 goals if you include Stetson, which was a 3-0 win. Temple 4-2, and then Grambling was 6-0. Outside of that, they have scored 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goals in the other games. So, I think that they have the capabilities to do it. I think my more concern is they really don't have many defenders. Like they had 3 players go down with an injury before the season had even started. And so they're basically down to like a 3-goal rotation at defense, which isn't ideal. But if you score 4 goals a game, then you won't have to worry about it too much. But I think they'll end up being fine this year. I still think they'll end up being like probably 2nd or 3rd in the conference. But this Memphis team is really, really good. They recruited extremely well. Basically all new players on their team, and they just have all gelled immediately. So you can spring an upset here. Memphis tied against UAB the other night, so there's an opportunity to not lose at least. But
yeah,
it'll be an interesting way to see how the season goes for them. Their conference tournament starts November 3rd, and they're going to play at Lakewood Ranch, so nearby at least. But I think it's up for grabs still. But I think Memphis is probably going to end up being the favorite here the rest of the way through.
Fair. They're 11th in the country right now. So they're tough, stiff competition tonight up in Memphis for the Bulls. And then did want to touch on this. Rob Higgins drilled that introductory press conference. Like
crushed.
No notes.
That might have been, this guy has done like Super Bowl pitches and convinced the NHL to put a game outside in the state of Florida. I think talking to USF fans who are already like feeling pretty good about themselves, I think that was probably the easiest thing he's ever done. That was such a layup for him.
The whole thing was interesting, just in terms of not being like stuck at a podium, just kind of obviously his history and everything. But yeah, he absolutely crushed. It was really, really well done all the way through. Different style for a different title, I guess, but
Yep.
really good stuff. I'm sure we'll be talking more about that in the weeks to come.
And I mean, transparent. We're looking to get out of here essentially. No, the college athletics landscape's changing, and he even kind of touched on like now is the time for him to make this jump to be the CEO of athletics, because it is such a business centric thing that he is one of the top business people in the city of Tampa. So why not do it at your beloved alma mater? And I think it's clear, at least, we're very early into the regime, but it's pretty clear why we had the flow chart for 14 years. There's a reason.
Microsoft Paint ass looking thing, but it was perfect.
Listen, 2010 was a different time, all right?
That's true.
Leave us alone.
Yeah.
But can't ask for more. But with that said, enjoy your bye week. Be safe. Be smart. Watch out for sprinkler heads on golf courses. And go Bulls.
Go Bulls.
Go Bulls.